eliminating SAD. I'm Connie Lancaster, and I am a certified holistic health coach. And I am here to teach you today about a couple of different kinds of SAD and a couple of ways we can eliminate them. We want to live happy and healthy, and our lifestyle choices and changes we make can help us along that road. First kind of SAD I wanted to talk to you about is seasonal affective disorder. Many of us, in colder climates especially, suffer with this, and there are some things that we can do to change it. We just don't get enough vitamin D. It's an important thing to take vitamin D extra if you live in a climate where you're not getting a lot of sun or if you're working inside a lot. But there are also some other things you can do that we'll be talking about. Then the other kind of SAD that I want to refer to as the standard American diet. As you can see, this poor fellow has OD'd on some junk food. And when we look at all the packages and cans and boxes of things we buy nowadays, it just really isn't a lot of real food. There's a little bit of real food in them. They can be fortified. They can be there can be all kinds of additives in them, but most of the time they're not really great additives. Chemicals that our body doesn't recognize as food, and so it stores it. And we can store toxins in different ways. We can store it in extra weight, or we can store the chemicals in our body that can actually mess with our own chemicals and cause depression. So you can see that these two SADs or SADs are very interconnected, and we need to balance. We need to really create a balance in our life to be able to live that happy, healthy life that we want to live. And sometimes it feels like it's as hard as an elephant balancing on a beach ball. But as we focus and really take care of ourselves, it can happen. So, as I've mentioned, I do want to talk about both the food aspects and what we can do emotionally to help with inner peace. We look at these two mood continuums. The emotional line on the top, we've got to the far left is no peace, and to the far right we have no passion. So if you've been at either one of those places in your lifetime, you know that the no peace side is a lot of turmoil. It's a lot of anxiety. It's a lot of just no peace. And then the far right is kind of burned out. You've come to the point where that anxiety is just too much. You can't take it anymore, and you're at the no passion end of the spectrum. Then our physical body, which can be affected because of the emotions we feel, but we've got the left side at very, very stressed. And similarly to what we talked about on no passion, we've got the right side of the physical spectrum is very fatigued. We just get tired and worn out. So we are very emotional and physical beings, and so really we're a mix of the two, and we take those two lines and we cross them, and right in the center is where we want to be. We want to be balanced. We want to be happy, healthy, midline with emotional and physical. We can handle stress. It's going to happen, but we know how to handle it. We can be happy anyway. That's where we want to be. We're going to talk about the 4 quadrants, however, that you see today, and they manifest themselves in different ways. We'll be talking about how sometimes we have more than one quadrant out of place. We might have all of them out of place, and then we're having a really, really bad day. But I hope to be able to help you with getting some balance in those areas. When we talk about being stressed on that continuum or having no peace, I want you to realize what we all have stress, but when we are stressed, um, we we can't properly detox anything from our body, or our body can't function very well. And we can also have raised cortisol and insulin levels, which can create blood sugar imbalances, hormonal issues, weight gain, and of course, like we talked about, toxicity that can lead to depression or other mood disorders. Stress is the biggest toxin in the world. We do have a lot of other toxins that we ingest, whether it's junk food or just breathing chemicals around us, um, insecticides, pesticides, herbicides, different things like that, um, are toxins that we're always around. But stress is bigger than that, and so we need to figure out how to calm the inner storm. 80% of your immune system is located in your gut. I was taught in nutrition school that all disease starts in the gut. And as we think about the emotional side of that turmoil and that stress and that anxiety, to be in that constant state of fright or flight that you've all learned about is really unhealthy, and it's wearing our body down, it's aging it faster, it's causing turmoil so that it can't run properly. So we want to be able to learn some simple tools to de-stress and be able to fight off even common illnesses like the cold. We'll put a little funny in here. According to the latest research, the average human body is 20% water and 80% stress. Sometimes that feels pretty accurate. When you look at this pyramid, this is the pyramid to help you be at that happy, healthy state. And so number one is we have to take the proper fuel into our body. We have to eat right. We're kind of tricked with the standard American diet and the foods that are so easy to grab and that we have cravings for. They're actually made in such a way that they create cravings, and we need to try to get rid of those. And it's a detox, it's a withdrawal, it's a something that we crave until we're away from it for a while, and then as we're eating whole foods, big changes happen. We can start feeling better physically and mentally, and not have that draw for the toxic food that might be causing us problem. The second thing is exercise. The more we burn, the more our body can handle toxins, whether it's food or stress or whatever the toxin might be. And so we want to have some really good, healthy daily exercise, rest, and manage stress. As we get proper rest, it's just easier to manage stress. So those things can go hand in hand. But it's interesting that can be number 3 on that spectrum, isn't it? On that rung of the pyramid. I like to tell my clients to get at least 7 hours of sleep a night. When you don't get enough rest, your body is always needing extra energy, so it's going to ask for it, it's going to crave it, and that it's generally, we've learned, we have the habit of feeding our body with quick energy like sugar, white processed foods, the carbohydrates, the things that are going to give us quick energy is what our body is asking for. So we want to get the proper rest so that we can go with the sustained energy foods that are the whole foods, fruits and vegetables and whole grains, and things that our body really does the best on for the best fuel. The next 2 rungs in our pyramid are along the healthcare line. The first 4 are our own lifestyle. When something does go wrong and we do need healthcare, we need to be informed and we need to be proactive. And so some of the things that I'm going to teach about today can help you with your healthcare choices and understanding what you can do for yourself as well. We're very grateful that we have the professional medical people there to help us when we need. Sometimes we tend to run there a little bit too quickly, which can maybe fill our bodies with other toxins that we don't need. This is a lifestyle circle that doesn't have to do with food. I like to call it primary food. Our lifestyle is our primary food, and the food we put in our mouth is our secondary food. Sometimes when things are amiss in our lifestyle or the things that you see on this circle here, we feel a void. We feel a void. We want to fill that void, and so we turn to secondary food, or food we put in our mouth, which doesn't ever really fill the void. It's a comfort at the time, but it doesn't fix the problem. And so with my clients, I like to give this little exercise, the circle of life. And if you'd like to look at it here and see how you would fill it out, the center of the circle is a 0%. The outer edge of the circle is 100%. So with each line, what you do is you figure out where you are on that line. Are you at a 0%? Are you at a 20%? Are you at a 50%? Are you at a 90%? And you put a little dot on that line. Where am I with this certain thing? How do I feel about my career? How do I feel about my education? How do I feel about my confidence? You put a little dot on each line, and when you have your dot on each line, you connect your dots and you see how balanced your circle is. If it's way out of balance, you might need to look at that particular line that is closest to the 0% and figure out what you can do, set some goals to maybe start working on the real problem or where that void is in your life, and how you can start to heal where it really matters in this primary circle, instead of either medicating with food or with other kinds of medicine to feel better. Our moods are a complex interplay of emotional and physical components. Food and mood are very interrelated. Another funny for you. Well, John, in the past 2 years, you've gone from being extremely depressed to being basically unhappy like the rest of us. My work is done here. Well, I want to tell you, I don't believe in that philosophy, and I think that we can be happy. We can be healthy and happy, and not just believe that everyone is walking around unhappy. There are definitely tools that we can use to get us in a better place. I want to talk about that, those two lines that we put on that continuum and crossed in those quadrants that we talked about. So if you look at quadrant number 1, when you have the far end of the emotional line with no peace, the far left side, and the far left side of the physical with the right side with physical, then we've got the quadrant of no peace and fatigued, and that equates to I'm angry and I'm impatient. I want you to think about that for a minute. When you are really in turmoil, you're anxious, and you're really tired, then we come angry and impatient. Hope that makes sense to you. Then we look at the second quadrant on the spectrum of fatigued and no passion mixed together, makes us unmotivated and discouraged. The third one, you mix that together and we feel hopeless and withdrawn. And the fourth one, you mix that together and we feel tense and worried. And none of that they're just not good places to be. But you might find that one of those fits you better than another. If you're experiencing all four, I really apologize. Let's try to get you feeling better. when you have problems in the first quadrant, they tend to manifest themselves with stomach aches and headaches. It's a turmoil, it's a stress, and if you're having chronic stomach ache or headache, I want you to think about this quadrant. This is what that zone might look like if you're impatient, angry. He almost looks a little sarcastic there, doesn't he? The second quadrant creates physical emotions like brain fog and chest tightness. That looks like someone who is very unmotivated, discouraged, and just doesn't want to move along. If that feels like you, I want you to focus on that quadrant, zone number 2. The third one manifests itself with chest tightness as well and lower back pain. I want you to think about that chest tightness was in both quadrant number 2 and quadrant number 3. It's an ache. It's an undescribable. It might be depression. It might be sorrow. It might be just an ache. And that is just a feeling of I just don't know where else to turn. I'm hopeless, or I feel hopeless, and I want to withdraw. Then the fourth quadrant is manifested with digestive upset and neck pain. And as we've talked about, we don't want to have our digestive tract impaired, because that's where everything moves through and will keep us healthy. And that's a bad place to be. This is what that looks like. If that's what you're feeling, I want you to think about that quadrant as we talk about ways to fix it. Hopefully we're not having people who are feeling all of it, but occasionally I think we all are there. Okay, so once again, how are we going to get that balance? I want to talk about the emotional side of it first and how we're going to help with that. And I have found that essential oils are huge when it comes to mood management. This is kind of a quicker fix. So the food does affect our emotional balance, but it takes a little bit longer to detox with food and to get feeling really well and get rid of the cravings, etc. But the essential oils can have a quick effect to help us along the way, and I think both are very, very important. So what is an essential oil? Many of you probably are aware, and some of you might not be, but they are oils that occur naturally on the plants, whether it's in the seeds, the bark, the stems, the roots, the flowers, or other parts of the plants. They can be very fragrant. They can have very specific and distinctive smells. Some might smell really good to you, and some might not smell very good to you. The oils, if you think about how many plants it takes to squeeze oil out of it, it's a lot. And so oils are a lot more potent than dried herbs. It takes a lot more to get that essential oil, and it only takes a little drop or two to do the trick for helping us. So a lot of times people say essential oils are so very expensive, but it's pennies per use, and it's actually very economical and very helpful with all kinds of things. I use it for food, I use it for beauty, I use it for health. There are different kinds of essential oils, and I think it's important to understand that, because you might see, say, a lavender or a frankincense or whatever oil in the grocery store that is $6, and then you see another that is a therapeutic grade that might be 10 times that amount, just depending on what the oil is. So it's good to understand what they are so that you can get the full benefit, health benefit. The first kind of oil I want to talk about is the synthetic, and that's used for perfumes, to scent different things. And it's not going to be pure. It's got a lot of fillers in it. It's not just plant oils. The second one is food, which is grass is generally regarded as safe. It is food standard. It still has some fillers. It's a little bit of a cheaper oil. It might be used to flavor some suckers or some mints or some things like that that is safe for you to eat, but not for health benefits. It's just a flavoring. Then we've got the therapeutic grade in the purple, and that is a good, has a good health benefit. And then we've got doTERRA's grade, which I'll explain a little bit more. It's certified pure therapeutic grade, and that is a label, a description that can help you feel really, really good about the safety, no toxicity as you put it in your body. These oils can be ingested as well as applied topically and aromatically. doTERRA sources out the growing of the plants that they use for their oils wherever those plants grow the best. And so even though lavender will grow in Utah, doTERRA is going to get it from the high mountains of France because that's where the place that they are more productive and grown the very best and have the best benefits. And so they source out, they help farmers in underprivileged countries. They create these working environments and give people jobs to help both parties have security, and doTERRA can produce the best quality oils and as they build other countries and their economies. So I talked a little bit about the ways you can use essential oils, and as we talk about mood and how to benefit, have the oils benefit that, I think it's mostly going to be aromatic, but I want to talk to you about other uses as well. You can use oils topically. One of the oils actually that I'm going to talk about is really, really good to use topically. That is, you can apply it directly on any affected area that it might be related to. Generally, it's always good to apply them to the bottom of your foot because the pores are larger on the bottom of your foot. And any of you who are aware of reflexology or foot zoning also know that the organs are related to different areas of your foot, and so it's really beneficial to put those oils there. I also like to use them on the back of my neck or on my ears. It's another really good spot to use them. Aromatically, we can diffuse it in the air, or you can put a drop or two in your hands and then put your hands up to your nose and just breathe deeply, and you'll get that aromatic benefit. To have it diffuse continually in your house, depending on the severity of your problem or what you're trying to accomplish. Some people have diffusers by their beds if they don't sleep well, or if they just want that constant uplift for mood reasons. I have one in my kitchen all the time as well, and I just love the smell and the benefits of the diffusing. You can also take the oils internally. Many of them have nutrition labels on the side of the doTERRA bottles so that you know those specifically are meant to be used internally. Doesn't mean that's the only way that they're meant to be used, but specifically they can be. And that's another great thing that doTERRA has done to assure your safety in taking things internally, whether you have yeast infections or cold coming on or different things that you want to fight, bacteria or viruses, you can do that. So I want you to think for a minute, since we're going to talk a little bit more about moods. I want to talk about the aromatic method a little bit more. When you think about, or you've had a smell come to you and you've instantly thought of a specific time in your life, that smell brings back a memory. That shows you how connected the smell is with the brain and the changes that it can create. I can remember smelling some lime. I had some lime lip gloss as a teenager, and whenever I smell that particular smell, it takes me right back to my county fair when I was a teenager and I had that lip gloss, and I had happy memories, and it just comes right back to me immediately when I smell that. There are smells that aren't very good that we might have and immediately take us to an unpleasant place. I think about pepperoni sometimes. That smell takes me to a feeling of a place of being sick. I got violently ill on pepperoni pizza once, and so those smells just create a memory that can come back really quickly, and that's because those olfactory, the neurons connected to that olfactory bulb go right to the limbic system of the brain to help change mood, create mood, and it's a huge thing that can happen there. Also, I talked just a minute about how you can take things internally. I want to make sure and explain that. I'm sure that you've heard that if you have a virus, it's not going to do any good to get an antibiotic for it. The virus is inside of that cell wall, and the antibiotics cannot penetrate that outer cell membrane. They can help with bacteria because they're outside of the cell. doTERRA oils, the plants are structured in such a way that they can enter that cell membrane. It's a lipid base, and it can go in, and there have been studies that show that the oregano oil can actually wipe out viruses. It's one of the very best antibiotics you can have, and so I like to keep little gel caps, empty gel caps that you can buy at a health food store, and drop some oregano oil in there when we have sickness coming on, and take those. It's been a really, really long time since I've had to take any kind of an antibiotic, and it's been quite a while since I've been sick, actually, and it feels great. I know how to kind of proactively move along and take care of myself if I'm around sickness. And I do have kids and grandchildren around me who are carriers, and I know what to do, and I think that's great. One of the oils we're going to talk about is balance, and this is one that I would recommend taking topically, but I want to show you, this is a little experiment that was done with someone who was eating very poorly. They did this actually on purpose for this experiment. They drank some pop and ate some junk food, and then they took a blood test. And this is not the way blood cells are supposed to look. It's just very clumped and coagulated. Then they took some Balance essential oil and just put some on their skin, and 30 seconds later took a blood test, and this is the result. So that goes to show you how an essential oil can change things pretty dramatically. Do you think that that person actually felt the difference? Maybe not with that essential oil immediately, but daily use can really help you feel a difference, can make you feel more balanced. The Balance essential oil is a blend, and I will be talking about that a little bit more, but that's something that I use absolutely every day. I need balance in my life, physically and emotionally, and I feel like this oil really helps with that. So now I'm going to talk about the different oil blends that you can use for each one of these quadrants that we've talked about. When we need, if you felt like quadrant number 1 fit you, then the Serenity oil might be something that you would like to look at. It can help promote the calming feeling And the oils that are in that blend are the ones that you see on your screen here: lavender, sweet marjoram, Roman chamomile, ylang ylang, sandalwood, and then the vanilla bean extract is a more of a smell enhancer, but it's and you'll find it in many of these blends to make it pleasant and really nice. This is something that people use to help them sleep. It's something that is just a great calming force. If you felt that you were in the second quadrant, I absolutely love Citrus Bliss. It even helps people with ADHD. It is a stimulating, motivating. Remember, there's no passion, kind of a listless feeling in the quadrant 2. So I diffuse this one a lot, and it's just a general good mood enhancer and uplift. It smells so good. If you felt like you were in that quadrant, I would look at Citrus Bliss. It contains a lot of the citrus oils, as you can see here. Heavenly. It's a heavenly oil. The third quadrant, if you felt that you were there and needed some cheering and encouraging and inspiring, Elevation Blend is wonderful. I just recently talked to someone who has gone through a divorce, and a tough one, and she said that the Citrus Bliss and the Elevation have saved her through the last months. They are her daily friends and have been very beneficial. These are the oils that are in the Elevation blend. Some of them are grounding. When you see woody oils like the sandalwood, they are your grounding oils. And the last quadrant, we really need grounding. That was the real turmoil quadrant, and we've got several woody kind of oils here, and this is the one that I told you I use every day, and it's also the one that helped with the blood cells, the test that was shown. So I want you to look at these oils here. Frankincense itself is an oil that is, they call it the king of all oils, and individually that oil is very costly, but it has done so very many things. I like to use frankincense actually on a daily basis as well. It can take away my headaches. It can, I've talked to people who have had it help them with addictions, I mean big time drug addictions, with depression, something that you use daily, whether you put it under your tongue, whether you put it on your head, whether you put it on your feet. I would recommend a daily use, and maybe this blend with frankincense in it is a way to do that, since frankincense by itself is quite expensive, but worth it in my opinion. Another thing that we can look at is just really good supplementation. The doTERRA Lifelong Vitality Pack is amazing, and I've had many people say they will not live without it. The class that I had yesterday, one of the gals attending said she just started taking it. She's maybe been on it 1 month or 2 months, I can't remember for sure. Then she went on a couple of cruises and decided for that month she wouldn't worry about taking the pills. And her symptoms of muscle aches and pains and joint aches and pains returned, and she says, boy, I'm back on that stuff. I am back on that stuff. This actually comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, because it is, they feel so secure about what it's going to do for people, with helping give them the antioxidants they need. The omega-3s help us with brain health and happiness, really, and then the vitamins that we need because we're not getting them in our diet all balance out and help us feel better. And I do highly recommend those kinds of things. So as we do things daily with either diffusing oils, taking supplements to help us feel centered emotionally, that's really important. since becoming more of an advocate for doTERRA, uh, I just have to tell you, I've seen some wonderful things happen, and for a while I loved using it for myself, but I did not want to really advocate. But I am a health coach, and I would find myself saying, here, use this oil for this problem, use this oil for this problem. I would give oils to many people, and then I would learn that they happened upon it later anyway, and I might have given them that first introduction, but then I realized, why would I hold back? Why would I, when I feel so strongly about these things, and what they can do? And I would love to visit with any of you if you have particular problems I haven't covered today about what might be helpful. I also need to talk to you about the food portion of this. Whole foods are so important long term to keep us happy and healthy. And I love to offer programs to teach you how to eat healthier. A lot of times we say, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat this. And then people are left to say, well, what can I eat? I just am at a loss. I'm depressed now because I don't know what to eat. And I was trying to help that depression. So I try to run a seasonal detox. My upcoming spring detox is in April. I'm going to try to start April 20th. It is 14 days of recipes, menu plans, shopping list, lifestyle tools, daily emails, coaching through a group that is helpful on a private Facebook page. We eliminate foods. You know exactly what you can eat. The recipes are delicious. I'm actually putting in some of the essential oils into this detox this time to introduce you, or if you're already really a user of essential oils, you can feel really comfortable adding those in the detox. It is not a deprivation detox. It is a really good, healthy way to learn to clean out your body and feel really good again. And I have myriads of testimonials of people who have gone through my detoxes and have loved the lifestyle changes and loved the way they feel. There's also a program that I've been involved in since last November that is a 3-month transformation, kind of Biggest Loser type thing, where you pay $25 for 3 months, and there's a lot of accountability and rules to follow. And if that's something that is up your alley, to help you with exercise, drinking water, eating the right foods, staying away from the wrong foods, etc., this might be something you'd like to look at. You can win a lot of money at the end of this challenge. The winners have walked away with a couple $1,000, $1,500, something like that. So that's something that you might want to look at, and if you're interested, please let me know. Any of the things, before I say that, this is a little local gal that has been on the TerraFit program. We're in week 10 right now, so this last picture was taken last week. She's got 2 more weeks of the competition, and she is up in the top running, and she is on a team of sisters, and they're all doing so well. You do join with a team of 5. You either just join and I put you with a team, or you gather your own team. And there's actually only 1 more week to register for this challenge. It has to be done by March 30th. I actually need, if you're wanting me to be your coach, I need you to register by the 27th, I believe, since I'm going out of town and won't be here on those last registration days. This is another one of my participants that lives with here locally. He took a picture of his belt as he's gone through the TerraFit program. Okay, so remember these 4 oils and the things that they do to help with enhancing mood, balancing lifestyle, creating peace, and getting you on the midpoint of that continuum we were looking at. by being here today. If you've made it through the end of this webinar, thank you so much for joining me. I would like to offer you a little taste of what my detoxes might be like. If you would email me well, I'll show you my details at the end, the last slide. If you'll email me and tell me that you're interested in this free food cleanse, I would love to send it your way. Or if you would like to try a juice cleanse, I will send these recipes your way. And like I said, all you need to do is let me know that you listened to the webinar and which one you would like me to send you. I'd also love to help you with any other questions that you have, whether it's samples of oils or getting involved in getting your own wholesale oils coming directly to you, or individual coaching or classes that I teach, or joining into my next spring slam dunk detox that I'll be running. You can email me at conniescoaching.com, or you can visit my website to learn about that detox. Remember, it's called the Spring Slam Dunk Detox, and it will be at that website. So thank you so much for being with me today, and I hope that you have learned some things, and remember the importance of being proactive in your health care. If you are anywhere on that continuum of emotional turmoil or no peace, please let me help you give some of these things a try. I really testify to their helpfulness, and I hope you can have an awesome day. Thanks for being with me.